took a second to get to deep waters, but it was essentially like I always talk about life as like a river, like because a lot of my friends will get into this conversation of do we have like how much of it do we have control over? Is it will or is it already determined kind of idea?
Yeah.
You know, that question that people often have somewhere in their life. And I always say it this way. I'd say I think life is a river, and we're in the river, and we can guide ourselves in that river, but we're gonna be in the river one way or the next.
Well, we're in it now. We're going to do a deep dive into deep waters. And this episode, as well as every episode, is brought to you by Rahm Roast. So we were talking about this before, but Duquesne taught me that pour over and espresso are the two best ways to do this coffee. And you made pour over earlier.
I did.
And since I am the coffee tard when it comes to these conversations, I got a lesson from Salim, our master roaster over in Cyprus, on the exact art of making the perfect pour over.
I would love that.
With our beans, with Rahm roast beans. And it's interesting, the detail. Oh my God, that's good. The detail that goes into making a perfect cup of coffee, right? And actually symbolically what that's meant over time. This aspect of sitting down and having a cup of coffee is, where people build community. Back in the Middle East is how they would debate, because you drink coffee, you get a little bit of a boost from the caffeine, so you can actually be more alert.
It's funny growing up in Dexter and the level of coffee we had growing up.
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't the best.
Folgers crystals. I think that's.
There was a lot of Folgers crystals.
Yep. I'm trying to remember. Was it U-Ban, or what stuff came in the can?
They had because of Jocelyn. I know Jocelyn's dad. They had Hills Brothers. He worked for at one point.
Yep.
And those came in a can, I know.
And my dad would basically make syrup. I think he still does every morning. It's like so thick. He's like, oh yeah, this gets you going, and it gets you moving, and that's still part of his routine. And those were the things that I would watch, but I never got to partake in. But there's three principles that I kind of live by: the walk, teach, heal approach. And as we've touched on a little bit of the philosophical base of where you come from, where Christina's come from, and it's interesting because both of you, Christina's usually 10 to 15 years ahead of markets with what she sees and what she can envision because of her clairvoyance and the way her brain functions. And like you were talking about before, 25 years ago, you're studying aspects of psychology and such that are now prevalent.
Yeah.
And you guys, you've been able to take that journey, and I think this is the important part, at least what I've learned and I try to portray to people, is that through life, we endure a lot of stuff that we question why and how when we're in the middle of it. And there are some things that we should actually never have to go through, especially as kids. Kids should never deal with sexual abuse and anything, and that's aside. But, and women should never be raped, and abuse and all of that should never be part of any equation. But the majority of what we endure and what we experience, at least in my opinion, has been this process of learning through the walk and creating some semblance of perspective that it gives us an opportunity to pause at some points, and as we question what we've been through, to actually look back and go, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
It's this perspective.
Yeah, hindsight.
And I think like your journey with where you've been and what you guys have been able to do has led to creating a respite in. Are we on the east side? Is this considered the east side of Portland?
It is the east side.
Not west side. east side, on the east side of Portland, that is a place that everybody should come visit. Like Christine and I are members of Soho House, and Soho House can't touch what you guys have created here from your own hands, your own vision, and basically your experience. So what is Deep Waters?
Well, it's a good question. It's evolving, and really what we wanted to do is about 16, 17 years ago, when I was still working with families and individuals as a therapist, kids, I saw kind of like what you were talking about. It was like, there's this people walking through life. Some people are better at hiding the areas that they struggle than others. Some people can't hide them at all. Some people do a really good job of like finding ways to cover them up or just like soften them a bit. But I was working with families that and teens and parents and grandparents that had means. It wasn't like they didn't have financial means, but they were struggling. And this is pre me having kids, but I remember thinking like, I mean, probably also some of it is that I was away from home, so far from home, and that I was missing that and feeling some of the struggles of that, and wanting a place where people could really be themselves, but also be supported in being themselves, you know, and like in all these different ways. Like I was kind of dreaming back then. I didn't know what it would look like.
Yep.
And the model that I was trying to base it on a CSA model, like a community-sponsored agriculture model.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, that's cool, but how are you going to figure that out? And I was like, I don't know. And honestly, it would have been really hard to figure that out back then. And so, you know, you fast forward to now, and it started becoming real that we would be able to pull this off up in this building about 2 years ago. So I started the process of converting, like this whole space on this side was almost 3,000 square foot big wood shop, because I had a furniture line and I was doing all that kind of stuff.
Which was dope, by the way.
It was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. But converting that and like a pretty raw warehouse, you know, into a space that felt more like it kind of could hold you more, you know?
Yep.
It wasn't just like a workspace. That was like it was like a 2-year process. But really what we were wanting to do is create a space where people could really connect with themselves first and foremost, because I think a lot of us are so busy and we have so many things going on, it's hard to do. And then hopefully maybe connect with someone else in a real way. And then what I would say is really important to me, and this is like really secretly like my real hope, is that people can connect with something bigger than themselves. Like you can use lots of different language, but I would say like spirit or God or just something more. And to do that, my thought process was, you need a space that is real, and that has been thought through from a feeling base, meaning like, what do you feel when you walk into the space? And to me, my personal belief is that environments can create the conditions that allow us to connect with our like deeper self, if they kind of get out of the way and they're like real. Like for instance, like now you wouldn't have fake plants in here, you'd have real plants.
That's not a real plant.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Well, it's got all the light you could ask for.
It's a beautiful light, skylights in the building, and it just like was touching every surface and saying what would be conducive for people to connect.
And well, we'll probably get some video of going through and looking. Have you already done that? Yeah, we'll cut to some cool stuff. But if you've been in Soho House,
I've seen photos of it.
You've seen photos. Videos. If you've been in our house, based on what your sister's done now, it has that same feel, but it's the interesting part is, like, Soho House is designed to have an aesthetic, but it has the look, but it doesn't have the soul. And then when you come in here, I mean, even what you've done with the concrete and everything, which is one of my favorite things, is, you know, just being able to clean it and seal it and let it have its character so you can see the history of it. But then walking into the main area, how in the hell did you find flooring from a 200-year-old church?
I was building a humongous, it's kind of similar to like, this is made out of cedar, this coffee table. It's solid all the way through. And I was like, I want to build a counter.
Did you make this?
Yeah. And I wanted to build a counter that for, you know, that's like, I don't know, 4 times the size, 5 times the size. And I knew I needed long, thick boards of wood. And so I found this guy who had taken apart a church in the wine country out here. And he had these 22-foot long true 2x10s. And he had a whole bunch of them. They were the floor joists for the church. And so I used those to build that counter. But when I bought them from him, he's like, I also have the flooring. And he's like, would you want to buy it? And I was like, maybe. Can I see it? And he's like, yeah, it has this glue on top because the floors had carpets on them for a long, long time. And so, but he's like, I've planed a few of them so you can see them. And he's like, it's such tight grain, you can't see the lines of the grain because it's so tight, essentially. And
back when wood was dope.
You have to have huge trees, old trees, for that to be the case. And you can't find that anymore. I never see it anyways. And I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'll buy it all.
It's like just.
And I kept it for 10 years. I was like, I'm not sure.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. Everyone thought I was crazy. Because it was a lot of wood and they were long. Lots of the pieces were 20 foot long, you know? So it was.
Where was that at? Did you have it here?
I had it in the building next to us I used to rent for just store stuff in. And I had it in there. I moved it several times. It was not easy.
Oh my God.
And because it was long and big and there was a lot of it. We had I think about 7,000 square feet of it. And it took almost all of that to floor that 2,500 square foot room.
And you had to plane all that down and clean up all the glue off of it.
Oh my God. We had to, and all the grooves had all kinds of grain and sand in it from all the years. So I had to set up a jig on a table saw that cut that all out and regrooved it essentially.
Good God.
I cut my finger pretty bad doing that too.
That's the thing is, I am not anywhere close to doing any of that. Because like when we look at the coffee table here, I think this is the fun part with woodwork. My brother was doing his shop class in high school. He started doing woodwork and he was making desks and making tables and all these different things, and actually he still does a little bit from time to time if he needs to make something. He built a whole bookshelf at the house for the kids and whatnot. But when you look at the art, and I know wood about this much because of my family history, because and still to this day, 105 years later, Limback Lumber in Seattle is the only, this is a shout out to the Hunsinger family and the Limback Lumber crew. It is the only family-owned lumber yard left in all of Seattle.
Really?
Yeah. On the shores of what is it? The Ballard Locks, right in Seattle.
Yeah.
And you know it was the one thing that I used to love as a kid when we would go visit the lumber yard, because they still have the warehouses that are right on the road. They've got the value of the real estate now is ridiculous.
That area is really beautiful.
You just walk in and you just smell cedar.
Yeah, I love that smell.
Oh God, it's so amazing. And even when COVID hit, because they had so much inventory, you know, and everything went nuts and people couldn't get anything, they were selling wood back to their supplier and making just massive margins on it.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part, and it's funny because John's heard me say this, that my wife has her name for a specific reason, I believe. Because you know the derivative of Rahm, right? And what it means in Islam and when it goes back. And, Christina in translation means small female Christ. And you're a Christopher, which is also similar, different reason. But I think Jesus was a carpenter. You go, wait a minute. There's too many aspects of symbolism here. But the application of the art form and being able to see something, but the patience it makes to plane this and put these pieces together, but then the patience to have a vision to go, I'll take this and hold on to it for that long, and then figure, oh, this is its time.
Yeah.
And you guys will see this because we'll cut to some video. When you see these floors, I think this is the coolest part of finding the relationships. And when we first met, when I came out here the first time, when you guys had the shop downstairs, and Christina was showing me what you created, because your certain set of skills, when it comes to woodwork, are unlike anybody I've seen. You didn't build that desk too, did you?
No, that's old. That's like
ancient.
1910, 1915.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Where'd you find that?
I bought it from a woodworker that had just passed from the family. And he didn't build it, but he used it all of those years.
And I think this is the cool part of where we are now in society. It's for people that have means, right? And like you were talking about, you're working with families that make really good money, that have families. And the people that we've been around, because we've got friends now that are multiple billionaires and literally have the means to have access to everything that you could ever desire. And they want two things. And you can't buy them typically. Time and peace and health.
Yeah.
Right? And it's those things that resonate with who you are, that you can create in your environment that allow you to have peace, that are like, oh, this is what it's about. Because it's not about the speed and the hustle, like we were going over before, of when you see other cultures and they just take the time to slow down and enjoy the experience, or for what it is. It could be sitting down and having a cup of coffee. It's like my morning. I've done 5 interviews, 5 Zooms, 3 phone calls, getting arguments with my wife because of the chaos that we're having to deal with, and we're supposed to be doing counseling tomorrow, and she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And you go, this is not what this is about. And we're working, and she works at a rate that is not humanly possible.
I 100% agree with you that.
And then she gets stressed out, and I'm like, but you're doing this. You're choosing to do these things in the way that you're doing it. And like, I continually, it's like, look, it's okay to slow down. But she's got it in her head that she has to do all these things now because of the environment. But we work hard to be able to slow down, and it's the crazy part. And we look at the French and go, why do you guys only work 4 days a week or 3 days a week, or really 2 days a week, and you're there for the other 2 days and things are so slow? You go, well, shit, when we really look at it, everybody's happier.
Yeah.
Things function a lot better, and they still get stuff done.
Yeah.
But we've been put into this rat race, and being able to come to a point where you realize is like, what's really valuable?
One of the, like, when you're talking about that, one of the things I think about is that so many of us live in these urban environments, where it's just like, it is pretty fast paced.
Yeah.
No matter kind of whatever you do, you're just in a place that's pretty fast paced. And we were talking about before we started this Deep Waters, like, would we want to just sell all this and find a place that we could do like a retreat out in the wilderness or the country somewhere, so it's just like a calm environment. And the thing that I kept saying is like there are places like that already, but what is more difficult is, can you find peace amongst the chaos?
Yeah.
Which like
calm amongst the storm.
Right. Like if you're doing a meditation here, likelihood of you hearing an ambulance or something like that, is pretty high. But can you find peace in that place? Because that's what we're in all the time.
That's kind of the test.
Yeah.
Right? Of the aspect of being present.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's the illusion that if we go to if we are able to go to this one place, then everything will be great.
I can go to Machu Picchu.
Exactly.
And it's like, I can go to the mountains and I'm going to find peace. I'm like, no, peace is not external, it's internal.
Right. That's what I was like, wherever I go, there I am. That's
it's like, no, I'm still not happy. And like, yeah, because it's not where you are, it's within you of where you are.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the teaching moment of come here and focus on you and being able to take those lessons and apply them elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I have ideas because it's crazy because we've been members of Soho House now for a couple of years and we watched them lose their soul, right? And we have a new collaboration that we're doing with Franklin Social in Franklin, Tennessee, that the founders actually they're from out here. I think Allie
from Northwest.
Yeah, I think they were out here or they're down in California, and they've built this little spot, in Franklin that has little sitting areas and dining area and a bar and serve a little food, and they're developing, so they have 300 members, a maximum of 300 members. And then as we've been going over this, I'm like, shit, that's what needs to be done here.
Yeah, we've thought about that too.
Of just doing a membership so people can have access to it to be here, when they want to, but creating this environment where you've got a good group of people that are all like-minded that can come and have this amazing little space to do what they need. And it's interesting I like marketing, and you look at what's in a name, right? And you go, well, Deep Waters, why? Why'd you come up with a name? And I'm going to go off of what I see in it now.
Well, it was when we were trying to think of what to call it. It was, of course, as you do, you come up with all kinds of different variations. But the one that I kept coming back to was, and it took a second to get to Deep Waters, but it was essentially like I always talk about life as like a river. Mm-hmm. Like, because a lot of my friends will get into this conversation of, do we have, like, how much of it do we have control over? Is it will or is it already determined kind of idea?
Yeah.
That question that people often have somewhere in their life. And I always say it this way. I'd say, I think life is a river, and we're in the river, and we can guide ourselves in that river, but we're gonna be in the river one way or the next. And you can try to fight up the river, which I've definitely done in my life, but it wears you out. It doesn't work very well.
Yeah, you're gonna end up not going as far as you could.
Right.
If you just flow.
So along with that metaphor, I was always like, I don't want to be in the shallow part. I want to be in the deep part. Like I want
to be. It flows better.
It flows better, and it's also like it's like my soul, my like spirit is like, please, like yes, that's where I want to be. And if you ever see me in conversations that it's just really like on the surface, Jocelyn's like, your eyes glaze over, you're not there, you're like, it's hard for you to stay in it. And it's true, like especially as I've gotten older, I just want to be in this deeper place.
It's like the relationship aspect is like, look, you don't want something that's just shallow.
Yeah,
you want to have substance.
Yeah, and I don't care what that is. Like I'm not like it has to be this certain thing. Like you can talk about various subjects, and you can be a shallow side of that, or you can be at a deeper. Yeah. What I would say is like often a little more vulnerable. Like there's a little vulnerability with that.
Yeah, I think that's the part of people actually taking the time to take themselves out of the equation, and be like, no, be human, right? Don't that the aspect of AI now, right?
Yeah.
In the integration of AI, I have a theory. We actually need to talk more about this because I have a theory on this that I want to throw by you.
I'd like to hear.
But this aspect of the artificial component, of so many aspects of life, and it's like, no, just be human, be present. And, the vulnerability aspect comes in just being you and being able to express you.
I mean, even when you're describing like these, like you're talking about Soho House, again, I've seen the photos, it is beautiful, but we weren't trying to emulate that at all. Like the thing is when something like this wall, it's been painted, but I didn't cover it up.
You didn't texture it or anything.
No, that's just
here.
it. That's what it is. It was like, it's like this dance of trying to figure out, and really it's just a feeling. I always say I feel my way through things.
Which is interesting because that concept is the same thing that your sister functions with.
It's the only way I can really do it.
Yeah.
Because it works so much better for me that way. When I'm feeling my way through, then I know, when we used to have the store, people would always say, oh, we love your aesthetic, we love everything you do, how do you choose that? And I was like, I walk through the front door and I feel. And that's how I know if something's off or if we want to.
Yeah, it's like that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.